Oh boy, we're back.
Yes,
Hey
here
y'all.
we are.
Oh my goodness, it's looking good. Whoa, we're great. Here we are.
Actually, like even out this time. Last time I had Corey like tiny in the corner and like didn't have a chance to. I guess I did modify it because I had you all cropped all weird in the center.
I like it's like black on black look. I feel like I'm green screened almost.
Yeah, we both rocking the.
Yeah, we have a look.
We look like we've been in a theater, like working on a production today.
We have a style for sure. Well, hi friends and neighbors. We're back again. We've been kind of chit chatting. I guess that's what we did last week. It was a lot of chit chat. We've been kind of messing around with some sort of like different kinds of projects that we've been doing lately. And I wanted to kind of circle back to doing music stuff again because it's been a hot minute since we've done like pure music, and that's what I like to do. And yeah, so I want to do some music stuff today, just briefly, and show a little bit about. We talked a little on the stream about a program called Isotope RX, which is a suite of tools to clean up bad audio. And so we're going to record some bad audio today because I don't have a choice. I really want to show you this fun thing, but it does not sound great. Well, it does and it doesn't. So I'll show you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Jump right in?
I guess let's just get into it. I'm going to turn this thing on.
All right.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, there it is. Well, who can guess what that is? I don't know if we have any viewers yet, but
Probably not.
you can. What did they used to do in the old days with TV? Where you have to like call in and like and submit your answer to the question, and then they'd. Is that how they used to do it?
I guess you must have called it. Yeah, I can't imagine how you'd actually do that in a functional way. I guess TV used to be really live, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like realizing I probably should have recorded that. So
Oh, the startup noise?
I'm gonna catch that
That's
again.
a good way to start the
I know, right? Why? What's wrong with me? So yeah. Oh, that was real dirty. Seems to have quieted itself down a little bit. So yeah, cool. We captured that. Yeah, if you know that sound.
Oh yeah, let me get you full screened here.
I'm going to be a little all over the place on this one because I got to like scoot over. So I'm probably going to be a little bit more like right here, Jay.
Okay.
If that helps.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll adjust your...
Frame me. Okay.
Oops.
There we go. It's perfect.
Oh yeah, well you're full screen right now. I don't know. Do you want to be able to see both? Let me know when you want to see both.
Oh no, I'm
computers
doing
screen.
good. I want to show off this thing though.
Okay, here we go.
So I got a Game Boy. This is cool. This is the exact. This isn't literally the one, but this is the exact same transparent purple Game Boy Color that I used to have way back in the day. And I know it's a little hard to read right there, but what it says on the screen there is Nano Loop. So this is super cool. Game Boy. I mean, y'all know what a Game Boy is, and you know, cartridge consoles are generally fairly closed ecosystems, right? You know, the company makes the console, the company makes the carts, and you put the carts in the console, and that's you have to. It only reads those things, and those things are only read by this thing. But Game Boy's been around long enough, and manufacturing has gotten weird and customizable enough that people make custom carts for this thing now. And so this is an actual, it's a game, it's a cartridge called Nano Loop. And this is Nano Loop 1.3. It's gone through a few different versions. This is one of the older versions that's compatible with the Game Boy Color. There's newer ones that are different. But yeah, this is a music sequencer for the Game Boy. That's why I have it. And yeah, so it lets you access the sound chip in here, because all these old consoles, they didn't like play back audio, they actually generated them. So there's no like samples on like an NES or a Game Boy, there's no recordings. All of the sounds that you hear when you play are generated in real time by the system, by a little synthesizer chip in there. And so because they're old and simple chips, they can't do very much, they have very specific functions. But this thing's designed to take advantage of that and kind of like utilize those sounds in this sort of a groove box kind of style thing, where we have a loop of, I think this one it's 16 steps, and I don't think you can change that. So you get 16 steps, like a 4-bar loop, and we have 4 channels of sounds, which are all the channels of sounds that a Game Boy can produce at one time. And then yeah, you can sequence them and do weird stuff with them. So I'm going to fire it up. So it loads up on this screen and just says nano loop. And you have to like hit start a couple times to get through here. And here is the home screen. So you see the sequencer running, right? So it's pretty confusing at first because the interface is pretty whack. You have a D-pad and 4 buttons, and that's it. And that's all you get to make your music. So you do a lot of navigating with the arrows and switching between some small menus. So let's enter some notes. You can enter notes right away with the B button. So if I press B, we should hear this note. There's quite a bit of delay on that screen versus what I'm seeing. But yeah, so here we go. So we have like 4 notes being entered. Boom, simple. These can be adjusted. So holding B, I can use the up arrow to change the pitch. Fun. And you can also use the left or right arrows to move things by octave. Fun. There's no stop button that I found on this yet. I don't think there's a way to stop playback. So we're going to do a lot of like pulling open this menu and pressing start to mute the things. So you can hear this line noise that's getting pretty obnoxious. I'm sorry for those of you watching this on TV. This is the thing that we're going to deal with. We're going to hear this a lot today. There's something wrong with this Game Boy. But we're going to restore the sound with Isotope. And in the meantime, we're going to make some like silly little loops and sample a few notes. And then we'll make a little piece of music out of it. So I've been having fun trying to like make this into like a kick drum loop. So let's kind of mess with it a little bit. So we can, when I have this little menu up, I can affect all the notes with the A button. So that's the lowest note it'll play. So let's like make this into a little drum. So over
Your
here,
hat, Corey.
Oh yeah, hey.
Just FYI.
Gotcha. So over here, this channel over here lets me shorten the sounds. It's actually making them quieter,
Oh, that's interesting.
but it has the effect of making it a little shorter too. Let's like maximize it though. So this is pretty like blah. All right. So there's this cool modifier window too. So this one lets you take these sounds and do kind of weird things with them. So you can do bends. Make them do weird things. So we're getting into like kick drum territory, right? It starts to sound like a drum. So I think it's time to like sample this. I'm gonna like record myself like messing with it for a second. Let's just mute that for a second. I want to work at a little bit of a different tempo in this. Do y'all in the control room want to pick a number between 100 and 200?
150. Well,
Love
nice even 150.
I love it. Quality tempo. 150. That's like trap music tempos. Fun. So over here, there's a little tempo selector. So I'm inching my way up. It seems to move it moves in some funny increments. And I don't know that it's finely adjustable.
Yeah, 53's.
So yeah, 153. That's a little faster. So here's what that sounds like. Oh, if my start button will engage.
You gotta unmute us.
Oh right. No, it's the channel itself is muted and it's not unmuting.
I love that we can see the reflection of your face.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Oh, did my start button just give out?
Uh-oh.
Wow. This is gonna really put a damper on the stream. There we go.
There.
153. So I want to record this. I'm gonna set my Ableton set tempo over here to 153. So this is not 190 or 999, 153. So this isn't gonna get synced in any meaningful way. So any synchronization that occurs here is gonna be manual. But that's cool. It doesn't really matter. My session's at the same tempo. Although I noticed when I tried this earlier that the tempo of this cart did not match the tempo in Ableton. So there's like the clocking here is not very accurate. But that's okay. We'll just capture it. And then I'm gonna tweak these drums while, like I'll mess with these parameters and you'll hear some of the wacky things they do and we'll generate some really weird sounds with them. So I'm gonna hit record and then I'm gonna try and unmute this. Oh, it's right. So I can get in here and do this weird stuff.
Oh, I didn't even know a Game Boy could make that noise.
Whoa. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. So much good stuff in there. Cool. So let's see what we got. So we'll check out Ableton. What does it sound like? Oh, gotta be clever about this. Turn you down. Oh man, I need a mixer in front of my mixer here. Oh, I know. I can turn the direct monitoring off. That's the thing to do. There we go. So this thing can just run happily in the background.
All right.
Cool. So here's what we have.
You
So
can
that-
really hear the noise.
Yeah,
now.
when it stops and then starts again, you're like, oh, I've been listening to that the whole time, and I got like now I feel a little crazy. So yeah, I like what I've got. It's super weird. Never would have arrived at that intentionally, but it sounds bad though, right? It doesn't sound, it's got a problem. So here's where Isotope comes in, and so I'll spare you from having to hear this too much more.
So it is just a plugin, huh?
Yeah,
You
so
don't have to, like, take it out and put it in.
I've pulled it out on the stream. There's a standalone version of it as well,
Okay.
where you can. It's like a suite of tools in that where you got that like full spectrogram and like
Right.
do all that crazy deep editing stuff, which I still don't really know how to use very well. Really, yeah. But I have used the plugins more, and so it has this like whole group of plugins. Here, let me increase my resolution here for you. Bloop. A little easier on your eyes there for the stream. Yeah, there's this whole group of plugins over here that it comes with. Breath control, I don't know what Connect is, declip, they're pretty descriptive. Declick, declip, decrackle, DS, dehum, deplosive, de-reverb. This is noise though. And there's a plugin called Guitar Denoise and Voice Denoise, but this isn't either of those things. So we're gonna pull out Spectral Denoise. This is, if your recording studio is haunted, this is the one that you pull out to remove ghosts from your system. So the way this works is that well, it can work a few different ways, but the main thing is you're going to you teach it a noise profile, so you play it a section of the noise, which luckily this thing is emitting tons of it, so there's plenty of it. I captured some earlier, actually. Should have. It's not very noisy sounding though. Let's capture some good noisy noise from this thing. Full noisy noise. So what do you sound like there? That sound. So we'll record that real quick. Boop. I probably don't need this much of it, but the more you feed it, the better. So let's mute that. So already, just in its default settings, that's what it sounds like.
Hey.
Before and after. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's just its default.
That's the
Profile?
lowest quality setting. I haven't taught it a noise profile yet. Let's see if it how badly it mangles our audio. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
So this is the trade-off of noise reduction, right? So noise is generally pretty broad spectrum, and so are a lot of the sounds we want to capture. And so it's pretty rare that you find noise that doesn't occupy some of the same frequency area as some of your, what we call the program material, the stuff you're trying to keep. And so this is doing a fine job, but it hasn't actually learned anything about what the noise sounds like. So it's just kind of broadly trying to reduce noisy stuff with its like intelligent crap that it does. Oh, there's a whole advanced settings tab that I don't even know about. Oh, there's a whitening setting. Noise floor synthesis? Interesting. I'll have to get deeper into this. So the way this works for a relative layperson like myself is you toggle the learning mode on and then you play it noise. And it's creating an averaged picture of what that noise looks like. So now when I play this noise back, didn't actually do that great.
Yeah, you can definitely still hear it.
Yeah. So we could try teaching it a shorter section maybe.
Interesting.
Here's here. There's,
bring the reduction.
Yeah, the things by default. This is in dB of gain reduction. So 12 dB is far, but this is a really loud noise. You see this this thing is peaking up here at like minus 50. That's like way above the noise floor. But now it's pretty much gone. It's still there. I can still hear it. But I don't think that I would care that I was hearing it if I was hearing other things. So, like this, for example. Before and after. Much more pleasant. Cool. Isotope RX.
Cool.
So if we, like something you could do if you felt like it, which maybe we'll do is, I'm going to copy this to another track because this has the noise profile in it that we want. But I want to just I'm going to freeze and flatten this track. So I'm going to bake in that processing because I don't want to think about it anymore.
No more noise.
And then, so freeze and then flatten. So cool, here's a noise reduced. Notice it turned all my mono recordings, made them stereo. That's a Ableton, you can't turn that off. I wish you could.
So it had a specific noise reduction for guitars?
Yeah,
I pulled common thing.
I pulled it open a second ago just to see what it was, and it's a really different tool.
Totally different looking.
Yeah. So it's got these. So Isotope, the RX and Isotope's whole thing is like AI enhanced tools.
Right.
And so you're basically there's some sort of machine learning thing going on under the hood where it's isolating specific sounds and doing stuff. I think I was showing this to Louis the other day. We were messing around with one of his masters and I was like, man, the vocals are a little quiet in this one. And there's a module in the Ozone called Master Rebalance, which is crazy. You can turn the vocals or the bass or the drums up and down in a fully mixed two-track.
And it figures out what's what.
And it's pretty good. It's intelligent. So, the track we were doing it on, had vocals and synths and guitars, all kind of occupying the same frequency
Everything
space.
already baked in, all in one.
Oh yeah, it's just a stereo file. Yeah, totally. And and you turn this up, and the vocals turn up, and nothing else does. There's artifacts, so you can't do. You
don't want to push it too hard.
Yeah. You can't go crazy with any of these things.
It's like color correction, so especially once it's done. Going back and trying to bring more out of it is.
Totally. So, there's all sorts of problems that things like this can cause, and so it's just a matter of knowing whether you're causing them or not.
Right.
But anyways,
so
the guitar denoise seems specifically built to cut, you learn it, your noise profile of your amp. So when I turn my amp on, it just is noisy. It just makes noise. It has a bunch of self noise. I like these Yamaha speakers too. When we have the HS5s in there, those things just hiss when you turn them on. And it's the power amp. It's not it doesn't matter how high or low you turn the gain on them. It's there's just a self noise to the system. So guitar amps are kind of like that, except they do get louder when you turn them up. The noise does. So you teach it the amp noise, and then this gets rid of string squeak and pick noise. And so it's tuned for those frequencies specifically. So totally not the right tool in this case. But anyway, so we have a couple little funny little things here. We got a little sample, and we got some kick drums over here. So we could go through and grab some loose, but maybe let's sample this thing some more. because
All right.
because I am over here doing this. We can move past that phase and then we'll get into the actual like arranging it into something. So I got this channel muted, but so when I'm in this menu, I can use the up keys or up and down buttons to cycle through. There's actually, this is a 4-channel sequencer. So there's 2 channels, R and L, which are normal like square waves, right? So like we could maybe like generate like some sort of like silly offbeat bass line here. I gotta turn the. So yeah.
Yeah, this really reminds me of that little synth that I've got. That's what is it, Teenage Engineering or whatever they call that company that makes the.
Do you still have that thing?
I do. Yeah, I'll have to bring it in sometime. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Same like you run through and. Yeah, I'll have to bring it in.
Do you know how much those things are worth, Jay?
Well, are they worth something?
You should look it up. Teenage Engineering OP1. So this setting's kind of cool. In here, I'll put it on break for a second so you can hear what it's doing. In this menu, you can do kind of weird things with the pitch. So I'm like, when this little dot is out, when it goes down, it does an arpeggio. When it goes up, it does like FM synthesis. So it like makes it like all wacky, weird sounding. So here we're getting these kind of arps.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. Curtis has one of these.
That's not what you were talking about?
Well, he has this. This is one that he got.
Right.
But he had bought.
The other one?
I got one of the pocket ones.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, the like $60 ones, not the $800 ones.
Oh, are they only
yeah.
$800?
There's one on here.
They
no, Amazon.
I think they're 12 or 13.
Yeah, Amazon 1400, B&H 2000. Like, it is a used one. Yeah, well, they're so expensive.
Yeah. They raised the price on, like they discontinued them and then brought them back at a higher price. So they discontinued them, the price got jacked up, and then they brought them back at the higher price.
Oh, jeez.
And then the price went up even more.
Yeah. Those are.
So pretty brilliant market manipulation on their part, I'd say. Anyways, I have this thing muted because it's driving me nuts, but it should still be recording. Oh yeah, if I gotta arm this track, I suppose. So I got this like bass line to do something that kind of felt a little melodic.
It's funny how some of these sounds sound really familiar. Just the little chimes and stuff.
Yeah. So something I want to like point out is like, as it continues, it's not like a perfect loop right now. It's messy and weird, and it's not repeating identically.
Is that just something?
It's because it's being synthesized. It's being generated in real time.
Oh, okay. It'd be cool to zoom out a little bit so we can see what buttons you're hitting.
Oh yeah, it's like, it's honestly not that interesting to like.
No?
I'm using the arrow keys to navigate. You wouldn't see
Okay.
much, and then I'm just hitting B pretty much. It's either B or A.
Ah.
So B enters and Bruce notes. Select turns this menu on and off, and it gets in and out of it, and then start mutes and unmutes tracks.
Okay.
So it's like literally, I'm just moving a cursor, and then yeah, it's really just B to enter notes. Like so, I'm using B when I'm like entering notes that like on individual channels or whatever, and then A I can use to manipulate the settings across all of the things. It's like a cool performance control. So like.
Oh. Oh. Oh, that's How long did it take you to figure out all the controls for it?
You know, I did one of those things and read the manual.
Oh. Well, see, I tried to read the manual for the little pocket one that I've got, the pocket operator thing, and it was like, I stopped using it for maybe a month or something, and then I've forgotten how to use it.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, this is like a real thing about like using hardware like interfaces. I've been, you know, I'm still looking for a cool synth jam setup after that stream that Hudson was on. I was so inspired by that setup. But it was super cool. But it's like there's such like a learning curve with so many of those things. Here, let's sample some noise. There's a noise oscillator in here.
You can scoot it back up if you want to a little bit. There you go.
It's hard to see what. So this one's like a little less functional. It just has some different colors of noise.
Those are definitely familiar too. It's all like Zelda sound effects. You can rebuild all of the.
That's cool. That's a weird one. Cool. Okay, so that's cool. And so what do I want to do? How are we doing on time? Oh, geez, yeah. We got to start making music at some point. So noise. So I got some drums in here as like they're nice and sampled, and these are all going to hit through that noise reduction. So I'll freeze and flatten this track again with the noise reduction on it. Actually, I'll pull it over here. But I want to sample a few notes too, so we can then like resample them.
A little melody out of it.
Yeah, you know what I like to do. So we'll go over here and we'll just enter a single note at the beginning, and so we can go over here and make it longer.
Sounds like a heart rate monitor.
Totally. Fun. I want something like this. Yeah. Like that. That's what I want. Cool, so I grabbed it. Let's adjust it. We'll do something different. Maybe that's a little extreme on the FM. We'll grab that one, a little like, or maybe a little less swoopy. It's a nice clean one. Oh yeah, actually we should check out this one other thing. So there is like this other oscillator, this other channel. So it's not the noise channel, but it's like this channel. It does some different stuff. This one has access to these like editable. Oh hey, that's just a vibe right there.
A Game Boy vibe, huh?
Yeah, right? Switch notes. FM synthesis is crazy. Whoa. Oh, I ended up in some trippy menu. I actually don't understand this menu. So, but I think I just accidentally cleared my pattern.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. That's why we're recording.
Yeah,
so, yeah, okay. Anyways, you get the idea. Game Boy patterns. So you can go through and sequence this thing, and you can probably make some more music out of it. It's pretty frustrating for me to enter notes in a chromatic step way. So it enters a note, and then if I want to change note, I have to step through every available note until I get to the one I want.
Right.
You can jump in octaves, but still, it's pretty tedious. And then, of course, all the channels are monophonic and only play sounds for a brief period of time. So it's it's not necessarily the most useful thing. But here, let's we got that spectral stuff, so we'll copy and paste this to another track again, so we still have it. And then we'll freeze and flatten this track again as well. And then let's make music. I like music. So we'll pick and choose some sounds out of here that are cool, and then we'll be off. So flatten. So first off, what happened here at the beginning? Yeah, this is good stuff. So let's put this thing in a sampler. We'll take just this little hit here first, just like electrical spike.
Yeah, that power on.
Yeah,
sound.
yeah, it's totally like, oh. And let's see what's like in the sampler. Oops, probably want this thing on. It's not like much. Aha, there we go. Cool.
Music.
Love it.
Well, it's really cool when you play it fast. That's.
Yeah. I was listening to the Sophie remix album, and there's like a track deep in there where like all the drums have this like re-triggering thing on it. Let's do that. So that's note echo. So it sounded to me like a MIDI delay rather than like a sample repeating thing.
Huh.
So the idea of this is here. We'll put it with like, I'll set it up with one of these other notes here. I grabbed these individual notes that I thought were useful, so we'll slap those on a MIDI track as well, and then we'll grab this one. I think it'll be more obvious what it's doing if we play it on here.
Yeah.
So cool. Fun.
That worked out pretty good.
Anyways, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Poker face, my poker face, papa poker face.
Is that what that reminded you of?
Yeah. It's like
That's
it was the exact same number of syllables, was it not? Poker face, poker face, papa poker face. It's not a coincidence.
Oh, I'll give you that.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's unsync this.
That's really cool.
I like.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So it's not looping the sample. It's just literally re-triggering it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can see it actually like plays back through it, huh?
Yep.
I don't know if it's refreshing fast enough on our screens to really see.
It's not on mine either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you like a real live preview.
Yeah, this is every 54 milliseconds it's restarting. It's like not a lot. You know, we can make it faster.
Yeah. Yeah, the bar just shows up for a split second, just a frame to see it.
Kind of fun. That's like almost a Game Boy sound right there.
Oh yeah, no, it still sounds like the Game Boy, really.
Totally, yeah. So anyway, so that's what I stuck on this other thing too. But like, obviously, it needs to be a lot faster to get that effect. And then, ooh.
You're like really lowering the pitch there.
Yeah, it drops it.
Ooh. Hey, there you go. It's pretty crazy how much you can change that one little, like, I would have just thrown that away. I wouldn't even have thought to try to.
So yeah. Thank you for saying that, Jay, because this is one of my personal artistic practice things that has like been a thing that is a part of what I do artistically forever, which is I got into recording through listening to like experimental music, you know, like I only know about like traditional, like normal audio engineering because I ended up playing that kind of like more normal kinds of music and like had to like engineer those things. But
right.
creatively, I like making weird stuff. But like, and so like something that I've always like made a point of was when I'm doing recordings is like embracing the happy accidents, you know, Bob Ross style or whatever. But like what meaning that like, you know, like if I like make a noise I didn't mean to make or like capture some weird sound, like I'll like go out of my way to try and use it. And not just be like, oh, that was a cool sound, like I'll use that, but like, oh, like that sound sounded jacked. I guess I have to. I better use it. I guess, like you know.
Yeah.
And so like this click is super unmusical. It's all DC offset for one. Like it's like it's not good sound. But now it is.
Yeah.
And did you notice that there's like a pitch to it now? Ooh, 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 ooh. There's a note to it. Like it's really subtle, but now it's pitched. And so the reason for that is because I jacked up the resonance on this filter so far that it's self-oscillating. It's like it's playing a note. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's a cool one.
I got a little idea here. So let's grab some drums and maybe I can play all that thing along. Cool. So I'm just going to start a new sequence for drums below this. I feel like this like 4 on the floor thing, I'm going to get sick of hearing it already. I'm sure you are. So let's see. So I'm gonna do something weird with the warping to make this different. So I'm just going to set 1-1 here. So this thing starts at the beginning, and then I don't really feel like chopping this up and making a new pattern. I'm just gonna use the warp modes to like syncopate this. So I can take my warp markers and move these guys here and like that, and now I have a different rhythm. Like or getting into that Dembo space. Yeah. And so it starts to do something funny. Vdunk, vdunk, right? You hear that? Like,
yeah.
And that's because it's gone forward and back warp mode. So if I switch this to forward only.
Oh, so actually,
So yeah, dude, yeah, okay, yeah. It's really clear what it's doing. So each when it's warped in beats mode, what it's doing is it's taking each of the transients that it detects, and then so it's set here preserve transients. So it plays the sample starting on each transient, and then it manipulates them in a way determined by how you have it set here. So in this transients mode, it'll play, by default, it's set to this forward reverse thing, where it plays this whole section of the sample forward until it gets to the end, and then it plays it in reverse until the next sample hits.
Weird.
Well, it makes perfect sense
some...
for certain kinds of things. Like if it's like a sung note, like oh, it doesn't really matter if it goes back and forth a little bit. You wouldn't notice at all. But with this, because it's a strong transient and a pitch drop, what you're hearing is like in this mode, you're hearing it start to play the tail of this in reverse, and that you get that vabunk, vabunk.
Right.
That's what that is. So there's other modes. There's forward mode, which.
Almost like it starts.
It's starting it over again, yeah. And like if these transients are closer together, or like further apart, I guess.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
It'll loop it in a weird way. But yeah, so the way I chose was just forward and stop.
So it just when it warps it, it essentially just you're just like causing it to take longer to play through.
Exactly.
That's what I'm used to. That's
Totally.
why the other one was kind of surprising. It's like I'm used to just like, you know, because in DaVinci or whatever, you can just retime a track if you wanted to have it, you know, take longer to finish. And it's just like, you know, your standard just warp where it's
Just time stretch.
Yeah, you know, time stretched out. It's not.
Yeah, so they probably have something like Ableton's complex mode. But for certain kinds of material, like very pure tones like this, you know, like this wave is pretty clean waveform.
Yeah, that's kind of cool seeing it. Like
it's pristine. Like that's like, you know, that's some math right there.
Yeah.
So like there's no, you know, like so you hear like this complex thing is causing all sorts of smearing, phasing stuff. kind of cool though. Like, so let's layer, what if we layered that with beats mode in forward only? Never would have arrived at that by myself. So let's make it sound a little more like a bass. We'll like use some EQ to like kind of like sweeten that biz up a bit. And then music's gonna happen at some point. So to make your kicks knock, like in that somewhere in that 50 to 100 region, that's where that like thumpy thump is.
That's a good t-shirt.
And then you can get some. I like that high boost, that's kind of cool. And then we can do like a corresponding little scoop. Cool. And then this thing's all wackadoo sounding, so like we'll like set this up as a layer. Cool, all right. It's kind of an idea.
Oh yeah. Hey, you just slid it over a tiny bit, and that's what. Yeah, that really like sold it there.
Yeah, I don't know why I was like, oh, this is gonna work, and it did.
There you go.
So I think like it could be cool to like grab out like some other random ones. Blue, blue.
You gotta warp these too, right? These haven't been warped yet.
Yeah, like that one. Yeah, totally. But it's like such a simple procedure what I did.
Can you just copy the
No.
thing over? Or
Like
is
the
this a
warping? No.
separate-
I mean, there's sort of a thing you can do like that, but it's not really. Like
gotta
I gotta
do it
rewarp
custom.
it, but it's super easy. Set one here, and then I just like drag this thing out to fall on beat 4. That's it. And then give it a whole bar. And then obviously forward.
Switch your.
And then it needed to be that 1 bar loop. Okay, I'm amused. So let's get these doing something. Let's abuse these kicks for our own purposes. I really like that bar. That's kind of a cool section. Where to go? Oops. Oh, it's before that. So that's cool. So I'm gonna cut and paste that down to this track in here. I actually don't want all those like kicks in there. So I'm gonna pull out my auto pan and do that like pumper thing that I always do. So we set it up to 4 on the floor thing, the amount and phase, and then we, we wanna shape it. Now we invert that. So like each of those kicks gets faded in. It seems like they're like.
Yeah, I can hear something weird.
Okay.
It almost sounds like it's clipping, but I know.
So what you're hearing is you're hearing this jump in volume on this auto pan. So you can kind of shape it to be smoother. But if it's dropping down during that kick, so you can try shuffling the offset a bit, maybe actually.
Oh yeah. Oh. That's
Cool.
better.
Yeah. Cool. And then I just want to like get rid of it. So that thing can like layer with this other thing, which is no longer playing a 4 on the floor, but this is. Kind of weird. I don't know. Game Boy music, it's not. Oh.
What's doing that?
That was, I forgot to make this a loop.
Oh, it was like continuing on to the next part of it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. You can see here this thing is drifting in time. That the Game Boy's clock is faster than Ableton's. Like this thing's not actually in time.
Huh.
Cool. So that's like something. And then I like made like drums earlier, if you recall. Like, is that not it? Not it
Sounds
though.
like a drum, yeah.
Where did they go? There it is. So this one I kind of let run and do some weird stuff with. So. That's not the rhythm I intended. Remember, these are all just like sampled, and I have to like do something with them. So like this snare was supposed to be on the backbeat.
Huh.
So that would mean like if that thing were sitting here. Oh, let's do this. Let's be smart about this. So we'll take this. Wait, where did it go? So we're going to set 1-1 there, and then we're going to start at the beat before. This thing is drifting pretty bad.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like it's good, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you have to just.
That's cool. There it is. So the nice thing about this is like I can let this run, and the snare performance isn't looping. So that makes it a little more interesting maybe. So yeah, I was gonna like. Oh yeah.
That was cool.
This was that thing. Forgot about this idea. There's an interesting effect. So based on the downbeat or based on the offbeat, right? So here's on the downbeat. But it also works on the offbeat too.
Kind of like, I like that one better, I think.
Makes me want to dance more, so let's go with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea if you're making dance music to think about that.
It'd make for a good MARZ reel to promote the live stream. Just have you like dance to all the tracks you make with the background of the music in the background.
So when I get my stuff together a little better, I'll come in and we'll do a DJ set of my tunes on the stream.
Oh yeah.
Because I've just been like, you don't want a DJ sitting down. Like that's
no, yeah.
messed up. Like yeah. So I've been working on it. Like just going home and practicing, and yeah, it's cool.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, Caroline was just like laughing at me. I was just like shaking it with my headphones on, just like totally silent in the room, just like plugging in super hard.
Oh man, that would make for some good content.
Let me find the key. There it is. No matter what octave I play. That's funny. There's a lot going on in there. But I just played something. I'll capture that. Quantize that. I don't really want to hear it. Well, that gets a little crazy.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, hey.
What is this track? What was I thinking? Why am I?
Which one's, oh, that.
What is
Did you
going-
use a piece of that already?
Yeah, probably. Sync it up.
It's crazy how important that is to sync it up. Otherwise, it muddies it so much.
Oh, well,
the
I mean,
one
yeah,
track that's,
yeah,
like, off
totally.
sync.
Well, it's like it's the whole thing about like this like groove-based music is that if it doesn't groove, it's not the groove-based music anymore, and so like it begs to be played this way. So this clock seems to be running really fast. Like I've had the Game Boy set to 153, but it's coming out about like a little shy of 157. It sounds like that's drifting to me. Did you hear it like sort of get worse sounding? I mean, maybe it's just what I did that got worse, but it seemed like it was like drifting over the course of that. Yeah.
No, yeah, sure.
Oh,
did,
yeah.
huh?
Something about that part is getting really wacky. So, you know, this might be a thing where it's like makes sense to quantize some of this if I really cared about this making sense. But I'm just going through and just like locking down at some like what seem to me to be some essential points.
It's pretty cool that you can just like grab it and move around.
This is why I use
yeah,
Ableton.
it makes it so much easier than trying to like chop it into a bunch of little pieces and.
Well, I didn't get into any of the sampled instruments that I grabbed, but I made some weird stuff with loops.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Like we can make this into like a little outro, and then this is like a funny, weird, like nasty groove thing.
Hey, I mean, you can officially say you made a song with the Game Boy.
Hooray! So let's, because the stream is gonna end in like 2 minutes or something. Let's just sweeten this up with like some of this color limiter. A little bit of
You
loudness.
don't want to limit the Game Boy color. Just turn it back into a normal Game Boy, huh?
Yeah, just like this thing's pretty sweet. Little loudnessing. Cool. Let's listen to what happened. Oh, let's save. Listen. Here we go. Thanks for joining me on this Game Boy journey.
Nice.
So yeah, you know, this can get a lot more musical. I didn't really like do anything with notes.
I didn't notice Zook was in watching.
Oh hey, hey Zook.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of a wacky one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, chiptune music, super fun.
Sweet.
I just want to say real quick, if you're interested in doing stuff like this, and you're curious about making these noises, and you don't want to go out and get a Game Boy, there is a free VST called Papu that emulates the sound. And when you start getting to the weird settings of it, it starts getting to the ballpark. This thing is really weird, but it doesn't do a lot of the wacky things that Nanoloop does, like the FM and the ARP stuff. But this thing will give you a weird taste of this kind of sound, and it's free.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And we'll run cross-platform, all that good stuff.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to this weird and wacky stream.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do we want to do our quick shout-outs?
Quick shout-outs
to our gracious sponsors and their awesomeness.
Our numerous sponsors. Yes, thank you very much. If you'd like to be a sponsor, let us know.
Cool. All right.
We'll see you out there in the socials.
Yep.
Come down to MARZ and hang out with us. Play
Sounds
with my
good.
Game Boy. It'll be here.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.